yeah. Oh, just when you thought the summer series was over because you thought summer was over, right? You thought fall was here. What do? We're going backdoor cut. We're going to come in from behind. You don't even see us coming in. We got a guest in studio for Three Guys Before the Game, episode number 578, and we are delighted to be joined by Mountaineer basketball player Tucker DeVries on the program. Snuck one in on, didn't we?
They had no idea this was coming.
You thought, it's going to be
this is a good one,
too. It's going to be a football.
This isn't filling space. This is a good one.
No. This is not like, hey, what are we going to do? Fill time? No. We got a dude. We got a dude with us in the studio. We talked last week about Mountaineer basketball practice beginning. Fortunately, we're taking advantage of an off day, and we're going to just kind of talk ball, plus a few other things. Senator's here, Tucker is here, and Three Guys is ready to go, and it's brought to us by Comax Business Systems. What do? I'll tell you what they do. They keep business data safe, secure, and efficient in West Virginia, and they've been doing it for 25 years. Three Guys brought to us by Gomart. Get a Gomart rewards card either on their website or off their app, and you immediately begin to save money on food and fuel. Go to Gomart.com for details. Halloween fast approaching. Just talk to some of the folks there at Gomart. Got a 17-pound Reese cup coming in. You know those handles on on buckets. Like to pick up a bucket. They got side handles. They're putting those on these Reese cups. So doggone heavy. 17-pound Reese cup. Got a fly rod.
That's arriving soon?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're looking into it. Also a fly rod as long as a Slim Jim. Gomart. Three Guys brought to us by Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. And by Tudor's Biscuit World. Someone told me, hey, change the tagline on Tudor's, they told me.
What?
Start your day the Three Guys way with a Tudor's biscuit. Start your day the homemade way. Yeah. And by Conley CPA Group.
We should have picked up some of those Tudor's biscuits on the way here.
Have you had one yet?
I haven't, but I can.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we should have done that.
Oh, yeah.
Early turnover by me.
Yeah.
Should have got us one.
We need to get Tucker a Tudor's biscuit. And Three Guys also brought to us by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. We're going to do that as well. And the numbers we're going to look at are Tucker numbers. Maybe teach him something that he may not know about his game, that the computer knows about his game, but that he doesn't know about his game. All right, let's do this thing. Boom, music. All right, buddy. Nice to have you on here.
Yeah, thank you guys for having me.
So we got about 52 different directions we could go. We're catching you on an off day. We were saying in the last couple of weeks, basketball practice really, like back in the old days, October 15th, and you're too young to remember this, but it was October 15th. It was like Christmas Day for basketball fans. October the 15th, everyone is October 15th, is October 15th. And then like on the 14th, people would start practice at midnight going into the 15th, Midnight Madness. Now, you barely may remember that, right? You're growing up in Omaha. Creighton, maybe you had a little Midnight Madness?
Yeah, they had something called Midnight Madness, but I don't think it was really
never at midnight. Well, back in the old days.
It was
it's
truly
literally midnight. So you would just sit in the gym. It's the 14th of October, and then the stroke of midnight comes. It's legal because Lord knows we don't want to have any NCAA violations. And practice would start. And then the season wouldn't start until the Thanksgiving week. That's when you would play your first game. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So the point to all this is, like, practice never stops.
Never.
Right? It's a year-round thing.
Yeah. No, we get a couple weeks right after the season and maybe a week in August, and that's about it.
Yeah. And for you, what an off season, man. A few things change in your life, huh?
Yeah, it's a little different now.
Yeah.
It's been good. It's been exciting, so we're looking forward to it.
So just kind of think of this. So we're recording, and it's still September. So this is the 9th month. In the course of 6 months, let's start lining up a few of the milestones in your life. In the course of the last 6 months, you guys have played in the NCAA tournament at Drake. Your dad, less than 5-6 days later, takes a new job at West Virginia. A few days later, or if not the same exact time, you say, I'm in. You have shoulder surgery, right? Flew and had shoulder surgery. You come here, you see your dad's press conference, you rehab, you kind of get integrated here. You're going back and forth, finishing school, doing the whole thing. Now you're here, putting a roster together, start practicing for Italy, go to Italy, go do that, get back here. Okay, now it's for real. You build up to your practices, the hour commitment that you have, and now it's started.
Yeah.
That just made me tired. The Senator, did that make you tired?
That's a lot in a few months.
Now you're young, but have you put that into
You
perspective?
forgot he picked up the Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year award before they went to the NCAA tournament. His second straight, right?
Yeah,
Had to clear some room on the trophy case.
Larry Bird.
Sure.
Larry Bird MVP. So, dude, that's a ton.
Yeah, no, it definitely looking back at it, it feels like a lot, but it's crazy how quick it's gone, and scary how quick it's gonna go because you want it to slow down because it's final year and you just want to enjoy it, but just trying to soak it all in and embrace it. But it's certainly been a whirlwind the last few months.
Absolutely. And you think about it. I mean, just forget about the basketball. I mean, you're moving into a completely new area, right? Your whole family who's based from Omaha and then in Des Moines and in that area in Iowa, and you come here and there's different geography, different topography, different people that you're meeting. I know it's a ton, but I think long term, you'll look back at this and you go like, that was an invaluable experience because it just exposes you to different people, different looks, different things, and it helps you in your growth.
Yeah,
Not that I needed to tell you that, but I'm just letting you know now.
Yeah, I'm certainly excited. We're actually just talking about this too, how different it is. Drake's small school, 2,000 students, 3,000 students, but it's in a city, so it's just a different vibe of almost 500,000 people around you, and then you come here and it's a smaller community but a big school, so it's just call it kind of that college town vibe, and it's just two completely different experiences, and glad I get to experience both of them.
Yeah.
You're a football guy. You like football, right? Football family.
Yep.
Your uncle played in 37 years in the NFL, something like that. Played a long time.
There was 38.
Was it like 12? He played like 12 or 13,
I
right?
think he played 12 years. I remember probably the last 2 to 3. One of them wasn't so great for him, but it was fun to be a part of and be able to go to those games.
Yeah, one of the all-time great college players in history at the University of Iowa. You've enjoyed going over to Mountaineer Field, watching those games,
Yeah,
right?
it's
That's
been fun. I've been to all the home games, so it's been a lot of fun to be able to experience it.
We were talking about your uncle's numbers in college. It's crazy that he's not in the College Football Hall of Fame yet. He's got to be going into the college.
Criminal that he's not.
Dude,
in
have you ever looked at his stats?
I haven't.
My goodness!
Everybody talks about it.
Oh my goodness! His stats are one word: stupid. His stats are stupid. How many TFLs do he have?
We're talking NCAA 1 or 2 all-time in tackles for losses. He's up there in sacks. It's unbelievable.
He had 22 tackles for a loss in a season.
Yeah.
One season.
What was that one game? What was that one game?
Against Michigan and Brian Greasy?
Yeah.
He had 4 tackles for loss, 10 unassisted tackles, 4 TFLs, 3 sacks against Michigan. Just one game.
That was
just
look
one
up
game.
some more highlights.
Consensus All-American.
Yeah.
I mean, you understand that?
Yeah.
Consensus All-American. That's kind of like here what they used to do. If you were Consensus All-American, they'd take your locker and they would plexiglass it shut, leave your uniform in there, and that was it. Consensus All-American. How?
25,
I'm starting a
25
campaign.
25 of them in the history of Iowa football.
Yeah.
Jared's one of them.
I haven't met him yet. I'm going to start a campaign. Got to get the guy in the College Football Hall of Fame because in order to be eligible, you have to be an All-American, a Consensus All-American.
Yeah.
Just to get into the qualifying, right? And that's a thing here that's always going to come back because Pat White, unfortunately, was not a first-team All-American, and as a result, will never qualify to go to the College Football Hall of Fame, which is a whole different criminal story because he should be. But anyway, your guy, Uncle, he got to get in. All right.
You have to start the trend for him.
Is he going to come around here or not?
He'll be here.
He'll visit?
He'll come to some games.
Now, he's on the farm now. What's he doing out there? Is he working? What's he doing?
Yeah, he's just hanging around Clear Lake, kind of living the life.
Is he still coaching? He's coaching there for a while, right?
Yeah, he did for a little bit, but I think he's finally had his time and, just kind of enjoying life now.
So he's in Clear Lake.
Yeah, I think he's kind of all over. Iowa City, Clear Lake, Des Moines.
Okay, give me geography here. Clear Lake is how far from Iowa City?
Iowa City's probably an hour and a half.
How far is he from Ames?
Ames would probably be an hour to 45 minutes to an hour.
So we're talking Clear Lake, like the Clear Lake,
Yeah,
like
Clear Lake's
the Buddy Holly Clear Lake. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, I think that's where it was. Yeah, that's where it was.
Yeah.
Was. Buddy Holly, one of the great musicians, died in a plane crash in Clear Lake.
That's
along with the
beautiful area.
Richie Valens was on the flight, the Big Bopper, and Buddy Holly. Waylon Jennings was supposed to be on the flight, but he took the bus.
Chances are good when Jared's out at Clear Lake, he's on a Lou Wendell Marine pontoon boat.
Oh, I don't think there's any question.
I don't think there's any question about that.
Well, I think, there's probably, and he's an American like most of us, and he wants probably American-made boats, and so when he goes on his pontoon from Lou Wendell there in Clear Lake, he's on an Avalon boat because they are manufactured 100% in the United States, made in Michigan. You can check them out for yourself. Visit LouWendellMarineSales.com. Very well done on your part. We call that in basketball, you call that an assist. We call that an assist in the podcast thing space. All right, so he'll be around.
Yeah, for sure.
How's he behave in games? Like is he a behind the bench guy, or will he try to go 4, 7, 8, 10 rows up?
Somebody's just gonna need to tell him one time what the chant is, and he'll be starting it probably 20 times.
So he's animated.
He'll be into the game, yeah.
Yeah. I always find that interesting too. Basketball families, and by that I mean the wife and the kids. You could probably, that'd be a pretty good show, because some families they sit behind their bench, dad's coaching the team, and they're nail biters. Like they literally, like they're nervous the whole time. Others, like they're outside of their skin, right? You know what I mean?
The nail biters would be my mom.
She's chilled, but she's biting nails.
She doesn't really bite the nails, but she's the nervous.
She's one of those, like the free throw goes up and she's giving you until
but
it
more
goes
nervous for you, or like that's a double dose of nervousness there. She's got her kid playing and her husband coaching. That's a
double dose on her.
It's always been pretty bad. Sometimes she just won't watch. She'll just turn away, and you have to tell her what happened.
She goes home, watches tape. Okay, let me see what happened there.
Yeah, and then I think now that I'm playing, it's definitely way worse. I think she's probably a little more nervous for me than my dad. I don't know. You'd have to ask her.
Well, she probably thinks your dad can fend for himself. He's been around. He's been through it. But she's thinking of you. Okay, you're your baby.
Yeah. I don't know. That's probably a question for her. But I know she's nervous.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah, that's interesting. So let me ask you this. So has her level of nervousness increased as your level of competition has increased? In other words, I don't think she's getting nervous when you were in 5th grade running up and down the floor chucking shots.
No, probably not.
Okay.
Yeah.
High school, she get nervous?
Well, hold on. He had like a super team at Waukee.
Well, I'm not saying he didn't. I'm just asking if
there wasn't anything to be nervous about. They had like 16 D1 guys. They just never seen that in the state of Iowa. Okay. Absolute super team there.
Well, she can still get nervous.
I don't know what was happening at Waukee. I don't know how they amassed that kind of talent there. Just absolutely loaded at Waukee.
Did you guys have a big NIL at Waukee?
No, I wish. But no, she was probably nervous for our state championship. We had a little bit of a scare there at halftime.
What was that? What was going on? What was the score?
Who'd you play?
Johnston. We were down 8 or 9 at half, and
that wasn't good.
I don't think we had been down 8 or 9 probably the whole year, and we were down. But
there was a lot of pressure on you guys.
Did you take over?
Our team took over. We handled business.
Who else was on that team?
Peyton Sanford at Iowa, Price Sanford at Iowa.
Hold on, back up. So, go ahead. Go slower so he can digest this.
Both the Sanford brothers
are now at Iowa.
Yeah.
Size?
Peyton's probably 6'8", 6'9". Price is 6'8". Then Omaha Blue.
I love that name.
What was Omaha's rating coming out of high school?
Up there.
Went to Iowa State originally, right?
Yeah, I remember.
Now, this is the same high school team? This isn't a travel team.
No, public school.
Uh-huh.
And then our other starter was 6'8", just shooter. And,
so how big? So give me all the heights of the starting lineup.
I was our shortest guy.
And you're 6'7".
Yeah, 6'7".
You're the shortest guy was 6'7".
Yeah.
How big's the point guard?
I was.
You were the point guard.
Yeah. High school. Times have changed.
Here's the big question. What in the hell were you doing down 8 at halftime?
That's a great question. We just weren't playing very well.
But kicked it in. You got the win.
So how many did you win by?
Got the dub.
13, 14.
What did it feel like to win a state championship?
Relieving, because we're supposed to.
Yeah, I guess it would be, right?
Yeah. There was probably more pressure that, everybody expected it to happen. But.
Yeah. So in West Virginia, the state championship tournament is a big deal.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, people flock there. It's an event. They're there. In Iowa, where is it held?
Des Moines, Wells Fargo.
Oh, Wells Fargo?
He played in a different building than I played. The old school was Vets Auditorium.
Okay.
Is where we played. They play in the newer arena.
I'm assuming that in the state of Iowa, it's a big deal and people pack it.
Yeah, it's pretty big deal. Ours was a little unique because of COVID, but my junior year, we were actually the last sporting event known that played because everything kind of shut down on a Thursday.
Yeah.
That was our semifinal, and we had probably 8,000 to 9,000 people there. And then the next day, state championship, 100 fans each team.
I know, man.
In an 18,000 seat arena.
That's crazy.
It was kind of weird.
Oh, it was. I hate to even look back at that. It was such a bum out.
Then the next year, when we won it, we had fans. So that was good.
So you won how many?
I won. I finished third my sophomore year, second my junior year, and
built it up.
Yeah.
So a great sense of relief in your last year.
Yeah. Wanted to experience it all.
How'd that team get all loaded? Are all those kids from there?
Yeah, the Sanford brothers, they were just from Waukee, and then the other kid was from Waukee, and then Omaha. He lived in Des Moines. He
migrated.
He was in Des Moines the whole time. Went to private school for his freshman year, and then wanted to come win a state championship. So,
Hey,
Valley did a poor job of recruiting. They went out and got Jake Auer, right? Valley had Jake Auer, but
Jake gave his best fight. I'll give him that.
When you played Valley,
yeah.
Let me ask you this, just between me and you. Forget that he's here. So he's a Valley guy.
Mm-hmm.
And finally, he'd been talking all this Valley for all these years, but we never had any Iowa people to actually give us truth. It was just his version of truth. Isn't it true that Valley is a school that consists of a bunch of elitists that look down their nose on other people?
Objection. Don't lead the witness.
Just asking a question. Wouldn't that be their perception that they're just kind of snooty?
Yeah,
you go ahead and say it.
There's a lot of perceptions of probably all the suburb schools, but it's probably changed. We're probably more the further out suburb school now, so I don't know.
Thank you, Tucker. Thank you.
By the way, he almost hyperventilated when he found out your boy was here and that he broke his 3-point shooting record. And like he asked
him, break it?
Jake.
He did break it?
I think he got the season, but I still had the single game.
So he had
fell
8,
one shot. I had 8. He had 7.
He had 8, and Jake had 7, 7 times, but he didn't get 8, and so he has this great sense of relief.
One of those 7 were definitely against us.
Well, he put up 7 on you guys. Yeah,
7 threes, was it? Oh, there's a lot of them.
Yeah, he rained them on you, huh? Okay. All right. Well, glad we got that all cleared up.
Thank you, Tucker. Thank you.
Yeah, appreciate that very much. Valley guys, elitist. Anyway, health-wise, you're good?
Yeah, for sure. This is actually probably the most healthy I've been in my, since middle of sophomore year. College.
Seriously. So what's been lingering?
Well, the 2 shoulder surgeries didn't help. But,
yep. It's always been the shoulders, both?
Yeah. No, just, a little bit of both, but yeah. It's all cleaned up.
How'd that happen? Was it an acute, or was it something that came over a period of time and said my shoulder hurts?
The first one was just a dislocated shoulder, tore labrum. You got it fixed right away because it was like right after sophomore year, actually in a practice. And then the other one was just instability, basically 2 games in last year. So basically just tried to get through the year and then knew once the season was over, it's time to cut it open again.
Dude, that's hard, man. 20 games in, you kind of go, okay, I'll deal with this for the rest of the season. So that had to be hard. Game 2, you go like, okay, I got a wing here that's not going to be right.
Yeah, we had to change some of my rules. Supposed to go offensive rebound, we cut that one out. Maybe if there's a 50-50 ball, maybe you just, maybe it's not worth it this time.
You hope to get it rather than dive to get it.
Yeah, just let's make it to the next game instead of next possession. But it was, certainly had to pick my times to be aggressive and when not to be. But
and you
made it through the year.
Yeah, you healed faster. Is it true? Would you agree? You healed this last surgery. You healed faster than you were scheduled to.
Yeah, this one was scheduled to only be 3 months, just because it was a bone procedure instead of a whatever a labrum is, ligament, tendon, whatever.
Some skin, some cartilage,
whatever
it takes.
That one took probably 4 to 6 months.
Mm-hmm.
But hopefully that's all in the past.
Yeah. So when you shot the ball last year, at times did it feel a little bit wonky?
Yeah, sometimes it did not even come close because it would kind of shift on me. But fortunately, some of them did go in, and decided to just keep playing, and ended up okay.
Yeah. Well,
some of them went in, he says. That's being humble there.
Some
was player of the year in the league.
I mean, it was kind of like an accepted thing. Like, you're a DeVries, we're going to play hurt. Like Uncle Jared gets on the phone. He said, "Well, we're going to play. We're going to keep playing." I mean, it's one of those deals.
Yeah, I think I missed one game, and I think it was just because there was a deadline before we had to decide if we were going to shut it down or not, and we were playing. It was a bye game, and we felt like we'd be okay for that one. So I sat that one out, and we had a big. I think we played Nevada next, and played that one.
They were good.
Yeah, they were really good. They were undefeated when we played them, and we did pretty well in that one. And I played all right, so I can't shut it down right now.
Let him go. Here we go.
We're gonna finish this thing. So I'm glad I did, and if not, might not be here. But everything works out.
Isn't that amazing? So it feels good now. Stroke feels good.
Yeah.
When did you identify?
By the way, he had 27 in that game
Against Nevaders?
Yeah, so that was more than okay.
How many threes do you have?
5 or 6.
Select.
Our one of our assistants, Corey, was on staff, so I bring it up quite a bit.
Oh yeah, that's true. He is. Yeah.
So you're on it, Tuck. 5.
5.
Yeah.
He was on the Nevada staff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's one I'll remember and bring up. A little bit.
I felt a little bad for your dad last week because when they honored the Elite 8 team here, obviously he was at Creighton at that time, and they came close. And here's all those dudes like, well, they were talking to you guys. I mean,
04, 05.
That was exactly right.
So
04, 05
in Cleveland.
I was maybe a little young to remember that one.
Yeah, you were. But your dad remembers.
Oh yeah, he's brought it up.
But it is how absolutely ironic is it that your dad, for those that don't, I mean, his dad is an assistant at Creighton at the time. Obviously, West Virginia Creighton just go down to the final shot in that NCAA tournament game. And now, 20 years later, how weird is this? 20 years later, Darren DeVries is the coach at West Virginia, and that team that beat him, right, or beat Creighton, comes back into the building where he's now the coach and speaks to you guys as a team and you as your son, as his son. It's kind of wild. And here's John Beeline, the guy that was the coach, and they talk to you guys to fire you guys up, obviously, for this coming season.
Yeah, no, it was really cool to get to talk to all of them and hear their stories, and I think it's even more special to see that they all still stay in touch and are able to come back and experience it together again, and hopefully 20 years from now we're able to still stay in touch and be as close as that group was, and no matter how it ends, you try and keep those relationships forever.
Those guys are the definition of a team.
Yeah.
So not the single most athletic group, but perhaps one of the most skilled groups. They just knew how to play.
Yeah.
John just really taught them how to play basketball, and they would beat teams that were more athletic, and they would cut them up, and the other team that's more athletic's looking around going like, how is this happening?
I have no idea what they ran.
No idea.
Yeah. That's the most fun way to play.
But your dad has a lot of that in him. That's one of the messages to you guys, right? Is how to play and be connected and be tough and all those intangible things. Team defense together, get out and run in transition. He's a stickler for those things, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. He's almost perfectionist.
Yeah, that's a good way to say it.
But everybody's got to be on the same page and competing at a really high level. And he'll tell you, no matter what we draw up or what game plan we have, it's not going to work if we're not all on the same page and competing at a high level.
That's the beauty of the game. I mean, that's the beauty of the game is to get 5 guys doing the same thing in perfect synchronicity. Like when you run a half court set and everyone does their thing, and like the screen is set, someone fades back, someone pulls it, you got options. Like that's the beauty of the game.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
Yeah.
We often talk about how hard it is in football to successfully run a play because 11 dudes have to do the right thing. And if one guy doesn't, the thing can get crumbled and the fan will sit in the stands and go like, that was terrible play. Why would you call that? Well, it's because all this dude had to do was come over there and seal that guy and that thing is gone, but instead you don't see it, right? And in basketball, the fun about basketball to me is it happens so frequently and so fast.
Yeah.
That's what makes it go at a whole. It's a whole different deal.
Yeah. No, I think especially in basketball, like the communication is just so important because, we don't get timeout every possession to kind of see. So you got to kind of like just read each other's minds, and it's part of just playing together so much. To kind of know exactly where everybody's at and what you're supposed to be doing.
Yeah. Which is what you guys are going through right now. So you got a bunch of guys that have not played together, and so you're trying to do this in extremely quick amount of time, trying to get. It's difficult to move Mother Nature in time, right? So your repetition base has to be like really, really heavy loaded right now, and to get any kind of a chance that you're going to get in a rhythm.
Yeah, I mean, last year our group last year was kind of in the exact same position at Drake. We had two returning starters, our center, and then I was out basically until this week last year was my first week back, and everybody else was new. So we're honestly probably even a little further ahead of as far as like chemistry and knowing how to play together than we were last year. 'Cause we could barely get through drills last year, and then I got thrown in the mix like right about now, right as they had kind of started to figure out how to play together, and then this year. We were healthier a little earlier and able to, go to Italy and play together, which really helped. And, I think we've made a lot of strides since that trip as far as, chemistry and figuring out how to play together.
Yeah.
Well, so that's interesting. So you did a little bit of this role last year, and by that I don't mean the playing stuff. I mean like the additional coach on the floor. You do a lot of coaching with guys or explaining to guys or make sure you do this. That's something you've done for the last couple of years. Obviously, you know the system as well as anybody. You've been around it and you've been in it and you understand what your dad's trying to get through there, but you've seemed to take that role pretty seriously of helping the other guys in everything on the floor.
Yeah, I think this year especially, it was just my dad and Nick originally from Drake, and really as good as our assistants are, they just didn't know my dad's system as well right away. And, I was one of those guys that just knew it and was able to, help, facilitate guys and tell them where to be or what he's looking for. And then I also say with how many new guys and new coaches we have, there's also been a lot of like great new ideas to kind of bounce off of each other and expand on what we already have and be a little more creative. So it's been really nice.
Yeah. 3 Guys Before the Game is brought to us by Comax Business Systems. What do? Well, they keep your data secure. They've been in business now for 25 years here in the state of West Virginia, and those business phone systems, Senator, you know what I'm talking about? Like, you have line 1, line 2.
You could have 63 lines if you want?
No, actually, you could have 1,000. 1,000 digital lines, Comax Business Systems, if you're in the mood and in the need. A lot of times that's something that, we'll slide. Well, if you come to that determination that it's time for a new phone system, contact Comax Business Systems because they'll come in, give you a free estimate, and seriously, from 1 line to 1,000 lines, they can handle it all. Free estimate, you make the call, purchase, lease, rent, borrow, whatever you want to do. It's Comax Business Systems. Check them out when the time comes for a new phone system. So let's go back in time. You start bouncing that orange ball. What's the earliest recollection you have? Are you 5? Are you 6 years old? Or what are you, 7 when you start going like, I like this?
I remember my kindergarten league. There was a 1st and 2nd grade league, and I convinced my parents to let me play in it.
Played up in kindergarten.
One age group, but I remember because where I started playing, there was 4 big courts, and then there's like 1 half court, but you played like sideline to sideline. And on the small hoops. And I was so mad I couldn't play on the big court. I just remember, finally talking him into it. Like, I want to go to the big court.
So he played up in kindergarten.
Sure.
Okay, that's a good start. That's a good start. Were you one of those kids that would go to your dad's practice? Like, did you hang out in Creighton's gym?
Yeah, I did quite a bit.
About what age were you? Like, are you still just a little teeny?
Probably before that, yeah. It was,
so you're the kid during the timeouts and things like that would run around on the floor and do that stuff at breaks and things like that?
No, during the games, my dad would keep me up in the stands, so I wasn't messing around too much. But, practices and stuff, I'm sure I was running around acting a fool. But, it was a great experience that not everybody gets to be around and, grow up in. And I was very fortunate and grateful for that. And, definitely helped, especially as I got older, being around it and being able to see some of the highest level of basketball and be around some of the great basketball minds that were there.
Yeah. I think that's a huge part of it. I think whether it's a sport or whatever it is, when people are given access to see someone doing something at an extremely high level and they can basically model that, it takes them so far ahead so quick, right? So you're looking at it and going like, okay, college players do this. College players do this. It makes you just go, if it was an instrument and you watch one of the greats that are performing an instrument, you're going like, okay, they're doing this. And it increases your growth so fast. When did you have an idea that you were going to be able to be more than just a regular guy, a really good player? Were you, is this 6th, 7th grade where you going like, I'm starting to deal on people, or?
It's actually kind of a funny story. I'd say growing up, I was just kind of bigger, and I was decent growing up when I was younger, and then probably about middle school, it balanced itself back out. And then my dad had a few talks to me about if you want to really be good, you should probably start doing something about it because you aren't very good. I was like, okay.
Wait a second. Okay, so I thought you were going size there, but he's saying skill?
Yeah, just kind of everything, and wasn't very athletic. Still
but you had size though in middle school at that point, or no?
Middle school I did. I wasn't crazy big, but I was bigger than most. And then freshman year is when I really started to work out, and freshman to sophomore year, and I was really only 6'2", 6'3" around that time, and and he'll tell some of the other guys like, I hope he's good enough to walk on, or try and go D2, or
maybe Wartburg, Wartburg down at D3 school, something like that.
Play somewhere, and
and
then probably my junior year is when it started to take off a little bit, and some of the bigger schools called. He was really confused. I guess he didn't quite see the potential that they saw. But
had you spurted size-wise at that point?
My junior year is about when I went from probably 6'4" to 6'6" to 6'7", so that helped. Athleticism got a little better, but I'm glad it worked out, because I'm glad he thinks I'm not terrible now.
He probably doesn't. He probably doesn't think you're terrible. So,
well, see, that's encouraging for late bloomers. We talk about it all the time, right? So much with the travel ball and stuff now. Some kids get turned off on that when they're young. That's a great example of, like, there needs to be a spot for guys. There's some late bloomers that come along here.
Well, we talk a lot about this. Like, sometimes people think that you've reached how good you're going to become, like, while you're still here. And then we see guys that leave here and they get better. Well, why? Well, because now they're getting a different look. They're doing it every single day at a higher level. And all of a sudden, hey, guess what? He's better now. Well, yeah, he's better now, because it's like anything else. The more you do it, the better you get, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It doesn't stop. It doesn't stop the day your college experience is over. But that's interesting. Okay, so are you working out in the weight room at Creighton growing up, or are you doing the high school thing? Like, what is your level of seeing the big boys?
Honestly, I would just go to practice, or go to the facility, and he would sit up in the office. I don't even think he knew where I was half the day. But
right.
As long as I wasn't causing a ruckus, he didn't really care. But I had a few. Some of the other coaches had some kids my age that we would go and just shoot around the gym and watch practice, and just being around it every day was really cool. Especially some of the teams they had with Doug McDermott, and that was probably when I really started remembering things, and I probably took it for granted at that time, but looking back, how special he was. And then, when they went to the Big East and some of the teams they had that, made the tournament, and it was really cool to be around and see it.
Yeah, with McDermott, you're watching an NBA guy.
Yeah,
right.
No, he's pretty good.
Yeah, he's pretty good. So, when is the first recollection you have of playing open gym against college dudes?
I was not ready at all. My buddy, who's he was probably a little more ready for me, but we were on the same team, same age, and they had 9 guys, so we just alternated. He was more ready for it than I was at that time. This was probably 8th, 9th grade.
That young? Okay, yeah, you weren't ready.
No, I don't even know if it was the team. It might have been just
guys,
the older, like coaches. I don't remember what it was, but I remember being not ready. Like, wow.
And your eyes opened up and you went, what in the world is this?
Yeah, I thought it was really bad.
Yeah, that happens.
But you must have still loved it, right? When did you start loving the game? Because you can't work as hard as you've worked to get where you are without loving it.
Probably my freshman year, really just kind of fell in love with just going to the gym every day and like actually working on it, not just going in and chucking up a few shots and laughing around. But you know, when you start to see improvements, I feel like that's when I started to fall in love with it. And you know, especially when you're at that time, you feel like high school was such a high level, and you know, being a part of it was, you know, really cool at the time. So you know, just wanting to be good enough to play high school, and then the next steps, you want to be a good high school player, then you want to try and be good enough to be a college player, and just taking it one step at a time to try and get better and better. And you know, that's kind of when I really fell in love with it.
Does it ever? I'm wondering this. So this is before your dad ever becomes a head coach. Did you ever assume he was going to become a head coach? Did you ever did you ever think about that at that time? Because 18 years as an assistant at one place is unheard of.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably 4 or 5 opportunities that I remember way before Drake's, because I think he got the Drake job. It was his third time trying to get the Drake job.
Wow.
When he finally got it. So I think it was like a 4 or 5 years from the first time to the next time. And then there were some other, you know, like Summit League schools that, you know, he had thought about, and so it kind of crossed my mind, but I guess it never really sank in that it was a real possibility. And then one day he said, "We're leaving," and I was like, "Whoa, okay, we haven't done that before." But you know, it was then kind of flipped quick that, you know, it was, at that time, thought it was probably more my level, and sophomore year, and you know, my goal was to try and make it to that level, and you know, see where it took me.
Yeah.
So let's talk about that conversation, because we just mentioned the 2005 team here. So we've and this fan base has seen a successful father-son tandem on the sidelines. What were the discussions in your house when it came time to go to Drake, to not go to Drake? What was your initial reaction? I'm going to play for Dad. Good, bad? Like, I don't know how this is going to work. How was that?
Well, yeah, he never really brought it up. I don't know. I don't know if he felt like, you know, just didn't. I don't think he wanted to tell me what to do.
Right.
I think he certainly wanted to leave it up to me, but I think he did feel a little awkward because it was during COVID, so it was all like Zoom calls. I remember we had like a visit with Iowa State over Zoom, and he was on the phone. Audio wouldn't work, and so Prom at the time was at Iowa State, and he was texting my dad. Yeah, I'm sure the audio doesn't work. It's like, but
he thought your dad was sabotaging the Cyclones there to get you to Drake.
No, it was different. I think he was. I don't know how I think he was probably maybe a little nervous, just, you know, me growing up at Creighton and, you know, what they had at the time. But yeah, one day at the golf course, I don't know why I decided that day. Honestly, didn't even really think about it the night before. I finally just like, "Hey, I'm gonna come to Drake. That's all right." I think we might have even stopped after 9 because he was excited, and but yeah, there wasn't much thought to it, I guess.
So he didn't squeeze you at all then.
No,
to do it.
No, I think Creighton kind of gave me like a week, and that's kind of when I was just like, all right, what am I waiting for? And then that was it.
Did you have any hesitation though about just the dynamic of playing for your dad, or no? Obviously not, because you went.
Well, no, he had like been on the sideline one time when I was younger, and it did not go well. So
what do you mean by that?
It was a rough car ride home, and he
what was he coaching, like an AAU team or something?
No, we were young. It wasn't even AAU. It was, I can't remember exactly.
And he was working the sidelines, like maybe a younger.
Yeah, younger. Yeah. I think he was just. Our coach wasn't there, and it was like a parent, and the parent, like, I don't know, asked him to like, hey,
you mind stepping
maybe
in,
help a little bit, like, But after the game, he drove home. It was not a good car ride. He apologized and said, "Yeah, I'll probably never coach you again." But here we are. Probably, I don't know how many games I played, but 115 games later.
I laugh because I had a few of those.
Yeah, at least now if he does it, it's on national television.
Yeah, exactly.
He has to be a little more.
What's different about the coach-player relationship now versus that first year? You understand what he wants a lot better, right?
Yeah.
Because your effort. Well, I've seen you in practice. And Tony and I have talked about this. Your effort and doing things to the max is as good as there is on the team. It's not like you're saying, "Oh, my dad's coach, I'm not going to go hard here." So you kind of set the tone for everybody. Has it always been that way?
Yeah, I think, I know what he really values, and it's guys that are willing to kind of do whatever it takes to try and win. And I think my freshman year, that was kind of just my main focus of, I honestly came into Drake. We had they were coming off a 19-0 start the year before, NCAA tournament at large, NCAA tournament at Drake, and had 3 or 4 guys in my position that had started all conference. So I came in thinking I was redshirting. And then, so I was just trying to go out there and do whatever I could to try and get on the floor. And then come probably 2 weeks before the season, he kind of told me, like, you're going to be playing quite a bit. So but then, as the season goes on, you just get more comfortable. I think at first I just didn't want to like let him down. It's still there a little bit. Like, obviously you want to succeed for him, but as you should for any coach. But it's more now of like, just understanding like what we're going through, and it's basketball at the end of the day, and just leaving it all out there to try and make him proud, and do the best we can as a team to get what we need to get done.
So I think the answer to your question, he trusts you now more.
Yeah,
as time has gone on, he's earned your trust. You trust him, he trusts you, and he says, "Okay, I got it."
Yeah, there's more of an understanding, I think, of if I had a bad game my freshman year, I'd feel really bad. I still feel bad, but it's basketball. Like, it's kind of the understanding, like, it's going to happen.
Sure.
But freshman immature, you probably a little more scared, and
this is just the reason I'm asking. That's not. There's a lot of people listening that have coached their kids through different levels of sport. Not very few that are on this stage, but that's a hard dynamic, right? For the parent and for the child, on how much do you push the kid versus the other kids? How much can I give my kid versus somebody else? Right. Am I too hard versus too easy?
Yeah.
So I just think it's an amazing dynamic that you guys not only coexist but have thrived in that role for both parts of you, and you seem to react very well and interact very well with each other.
Yeah, I think from day one, he's tried to treat me like it's anybody else. And as a freshman, he was a lot harder on me than he is now. That's just kind of typically how it goes. Like, he'll get on us as seniors, but as seniors, you have a little more understanding of what to expect, and guys that have been with him for a couple years at Drake are probably going to get a little more than guys that are showing up trying to fix those habits. But this year with so many new guys, it's just everybody. He's hard on everybody. We're trying to set the standard, which is probably a little different than what we've had in the past throughout my career, because over the years we've been so old, and everybody was kind of knew his standards. But you can even tell as the time's gone on here, we're kind of understanding those standards as a team, and starting to play to those expectations.
Yeah, they're understanding those new standards. 9
seconds,
please. 9 seconds. 9. That'll teach you a little bit, won't it?
Yeah.
Let's talk about the number 9. What's number 9 mean to you?
And you messed up. Somebody did. You don't even.
He doesn't even miss a beat. I've never seen a guy.
So explain that. So when somebody does something he doesn't like, he'll just say
9,
and you get on the line, and you got to run down and back, and team's got to get there in 9 seconds.
And it's typically more like effort or disciplinary, like just jumping on a pump fake, or not sprinting hard enough,
or not communicating, or not looking, not talking. Like, I saw him reel off. Like, it was about. I've never seen it before. Like, I've seen coaches scream and yell at players, right?
Yeah.
But they waste like 6-7 minutes screaming and yelling. Like, your dude, like, he just totally no emotion, like 9. And then as soon as you're done, he goes 9, 9. And like, you reel off like 5 of those in a row, and I'm going like, whoa. And then you start adding them up over the period of like 15 or 20 minutes. Well, you just ran like 25 of those things.
Yeah, no, it's came to the point where I don't even ask like why we're running. I kind of just assume somebody, I don't know. I just get online and say, it's going to happen again, I'm sure.
Here's what I don't understand.
But there is a purpose to that, because you guys need to be in shape, because you're going to high defensive intensity. You're going to get up and down the floor, so you get a little out of that too. That's not just straight old school run because you did something wrong. There's a method to that madness.
No. And the 9s, they're slowly starting to slow down, which is a good thing, because we're boxing out more, I guess. Not turning it over as much.
A method to the madness. Here's what I don't understand. So you said you go there as a freshman, and you got all these dudes in front of you that have played a whole ton, and you're thinking, well, I might redshirt. Am I not mistaken? You led the team in scoring as a freshman.
Yeah.
Okay,
But
well, you went from I think I'm on a red shirt and there's all these guys in front of me and you led the team in scoring.
Yeah, we had a really old group, but there were some injuries in there that kind of just gave opportunity. Yeah, I think me and Garrett Sturts both started the year on the bench for, I don't know, probably first 4 to 5 games.
Garrett now here as the Dobo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you looked at us and I was a scrawny freshman, and he's 6'3", really skinny, and honestly can't shoot it very well, and you would have looked at us and said, you're two of our top players. You guys are not winning very many games, and somehow we found a way and rattled a couple off, and had a really fun freshman year.
Yeah. By the way, Tucker doesn't know this, but first time as a fashion model, Tucker's appearance here on Three Guys Before the Game is provided to us by Daniel's Men's Store, located in Morgantown. And producer Austin, if you want to take a tight shot there of Tucker. Now, Fine Looking Phil's sporting him with what is that attire right there?
That's a Peter Millar quarter zip.
That's kind of nice.
Right? There's a bunch of them. He's got a bunch of new ones out there. His West Virginia stuff is normally, you walk in that store, it's over on the right side, kind of wraps around the front. It's spilled over onto the left side here a little.
It's grown?
There is a lot of cool stuff out there. The fall gear has arrived.
Yeah.
Yeah. Important to get over there, check it out.
Understated elegance is just the classic blue with the flying WV in gold. Just nice. That and a bunch more, thanks to Fine Looking Phil over at Daniel's Minster. Are you going to Big 12 Media Day?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know when it is, but
did you get fitted yet for your for that event? Yeah.
I haven't.
Yeah. Okay.
You will soon.
You'll soon. You'll look sporty
nice
on
looking
that.
suit.
You look sporty on that. You want to do some numbers, Senator?
Yeah, we can talk a few numbers.
So Senator, as you all know, during hoop season, goes to the next level when it comes to analytics, metrics, and as someone once said, things of that nature. So let's do a little numbers right now.
So I check the numbers. We'll just go right to the numbers. Here comes a heater. Let's jump into the analytics portion of the show.
Time for Spreads on Stats, brought to us by the Conley CPA Group. They do provide value beyond the numbers. Probably got like a crack team of like 7 or 8 CPAs right now trying to break down Tucker's metrics and analytics. They do that over there too?
Sometimes, I think.
Because I know they also
get busy with other things though.
Sure, they provide full service accountancy. They'll come in, they'll consult for you, tax planning, preparation, audit and assurance, all those things, and they can come in hybrid. Any kind of an arrangement. If you need bookkeeping done, they can do that remotely. CFO services, they can do that as well. It's Conley CPA Group. We're going to play this as a trivia kind of thing.
I got a couple
questions
trivia questions.
for him.
We're just going to kind of
him?
bounce around. Yeah.
Okay, here.
I did let him. He did take a peek at the super secret analytic profile.
Pretty nice.
He did get a look at it.
All right, go ahead. Give him one.
What do you think your favorite spot from 3 was last year? Where did you take the highest percentage of 3-point shots around the arc? Which spot?
Last year I did not get to the corner very often. I know that.
Interesting.
But it was a little different system last year that we had. But I'm gonna guess. I did see it. I know where I shot better, but I bet I actually took more on the other wing, the right wing.
Close. Top of the key. 20% of your shots were from top of the key.
Okay.
Surprise you?
No.
No? Were you playing out front more?
More on the ball and ball screens, handoffs. So
you just kind of answered. You knew where you shot best from last year.
Yeah.
Left wing.
Yeah.
But you've lit it up from there for the last 3 years. Is that your favorite spot on the floor? I mean, you'll pull up from anywhere.
Yeah, I mean, now that I know that, I'm going to make it my favorite spot.
44% last year from the left wing.
Well, hell, shoot them all from there then, Tucker. What are we waiting for?
Pretty good. 40% the year before from that spot, 38% the year before as a freshman. I mean, you've been 38+ from the left wing from 3 every year. Pretty good.
Shooting more from
Find
there.
that left wing.
Left wing.
Transition, get on the left side and get up the floor that way.
Okay.
I like this.
Last year was interesting, too. Your 3 spots with the most field goal attempts were straight up the middle. At the rim, in the lane, and top of the key 3-pointer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think it was a lot of middle ball screens, a lot of trying to get me in the middle of the floor to get in the paint and either make a play for myself or for the other guys around.
So that's an interesting point. Let's talk about that a little bit because I think people need an overview of your game. You can be an elite shooter, right? You're gonna bang the three, but you'll also take a mid-range. You'll put the ball on the floor. You can distribute. 4 assists per game last year?
Mm-hmm.
So you'll do everything. At times, will you bring it up?
Yeah, at times. I mean, this year we have, obviously a really good point guard in Javon that can make plays for other guys as well. So maybe not have the ball quite in my hands as much as last year, but being able to do a little bit of both for sure.
But gives you some versatility. You could also put Javon off the ball if you needed to, run him off screens. You could still work and distribute.
Yeah, for sure. That's, as a group, it's, a lot of versatility skill-wise on offense 1 through 5. So, I think you'll see a lot of versatility on offense from all positions.
Tucker was 99th percentile nationally in points per game per 40 minutes last year.
Quite efficient.
Hence Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Year.
And that's with a tender wing, right? That thing. That was a tender wing he was going with there too, right?
Yeah.
Wasn't 100%.
It definitely had its bad times.
Yeah,
it had some good moments.
Who's a guy? Give us an NBA guy that you think comps are always tough. I get it, but who do you think you pattern your game after, or would like to pattern your game after?
In order to translate into the NBA, or
no, just
at
like
this
currently,
level?
yeah. Like who do you watch in the NBA that you enjoy watching them play, and there's a little bit of I could see myself in that regard.
Yeah. And in no way am I like him, but I love watching Luka, and I love watching Steph. I think Steph's ability to find ways to get shots is just, I don't think people realize how high his motor and IQ is to get his shots off. And then Luka as well, like he's not the most athletic guy, but the angles he uses and his IQ to get shots and just trying to take bits and pieces of their game and the way they get their shots off and able to affect the game outside of just scoring is actually better than pop.
But your offensive game, and again, I know we're not saying you're Luka or your game's where Luka is, obviously, but you do a lot of those. I mean, you shoot it from all 3 levels. You'll pass the ball. You can post up if you have a advantage there, or you can step back and hit the 3. So I think there are some similarities to your game stylistically. No?
Sure.
All right, I'll say it. You don't have to say it. I'll say that.
Well, I mean, I see that little. You got a little fadeaway. You got a little Luka fadeaway in there too.
Yeah.
Huh?
You
Does
do
that
a
try
drop
to.
in the lane, you'll hit that.
Yeah.
Right? You can do all those things.
I try my best.
Yeah.
He's being too humble.
Those fadeaways are tough to guard, as you well know. And how do you stop that thing?
Yeah, just got to go in.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, 2 different speed. Yeah. What else you got?
Well, I'm just looking through
Hey,
some games
let me
last
ask
year.
you this: in your little magic machine over there,
Yeah.
are there any comparable players that he's similar to?
There is. Thanks for asking.
Sure.
We looked at that beforehand. You know who one of the top 4 comps is from a Big 12 conference player? And this is a statistical comp. This isn't what I just did right there with body type and how you look and what your game is like. But one of the top 5 matches in terms of statistics, taking last year's stats for this player and for Tucker, Javon Small.
How interesting is that?
How about that? Kevin McCullough from Kansas is another one statistically.
Yeah.
Hunter Dickinson, not too far down the list in terms of a comp.
Statistical similarities these are.
Dylan Dessou.
Sure. Oh, yeah.
We saw him last year.
When he was on, he was stupid.
Yeah, so those are just statistical profiles of what there's a wheel here that has just all the different statistics on it, and based on where the numbers fall on the wheel, that's what your comps come out to. So obviously Javon and Tucker are 2 different players stylistically, but statistically they were similar last year.
Yeah.
All at a really high level, by the way.
Sure. 3 guys before the game, and the Spreads on Stats brought to us by Conley CPA Group. Have you had the opportunity yet to have a Tudor's biscuit? These things, dude. Last March, they had what's called the March Madness Biscuit Bracket. 32 companies or restaurants that make biscuits. And they set up a grid. 32 all over the country. Guess what? Tudor's Biscuit World won the event. Number 1 in the world.
I got to give it a try.
Absolutely. Garden and Gun Magazine. So they won with their Tudor's Mountaineer biscuit, which is packed. Country ham, egg sausage, crispy hash brown. It was named the South's best biscuit. You can celebrate a West Virginia original on your way to any Mountaineer game. Visit Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way, or start your day the Three Guys way with a Tudor's biscuit. Really good.
Can we do 2 more numbers?
Well, sure. Go ahead.
Your assist percentage last year. So we're just talking about you can do different things. You can distribute if you need to. Would you be surprised to know you assisted on 21% of your team's baskets? That's pretty high for a 6'7".
Yeah, I didn't know
guard
that.
slash forward. 1.5 assist to turnover ratio.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Well,
Good for a non-point guard.
For a non-point guard.
If I turned it over, we had a 9. That's how you learn to not turn it over very often.
Yeah, it works.
Where's that rank on the list of things don't do for Coach DeVries? Way up on the list?
That's 1A and 1B is if you don't box out. Yeah.
So don't turn it over, and if you don't box out, you got a problem.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do those 2 things, majority of the time we won't be running very much. But those 2, you better.
The offensive sets that you ran last year compared to this year is how different?
Sets wise, there's still quite a bit of similarities. Especially the ones that were put in last year for me. That a lot of those have stayed the same, and then finding different ways to utilize guys that we have differently than what we had on last year's team. This year we have a 5-man that can shoot. So, adding a few of those in, using Javon, putting him in the best positions possible. And then everything else is outside of the sets is probably pretty similar. Maybe in a little more like go through the 5 for hand games because we have such a skilled 5-man that, makes it so much harder to guard.
Mm-hmm.
I remember last year, when we were guarding a 5-man that could kind of do it all, it makes it hard. It's really hard to guard. So, being able to go through them and, go through high split screens or, what we call blast screens or, with the 5-man having the ball and getting other guys involved with the 5-mans.
Yeah.
Pretty important for us.
So why don't we put your coaching hat on now? Give me the scouting report on your Mountaineer team that's getting ready to, we're less than 3 weeks, right? A little bit more than 3 weeks away from watching you guys play in your first exhibition
28
game.
practices left, I think.
Yeah.
It happens fast.
Oh. Yeah.
No, but, I love the group. I think we all fit each other very well. I think we have a little bit of everything, a lot of versatility, offensively and defensively. We're able to do a lot of things, with that versatility. I think, we have a great point guard, Javon, who's played at this level and been successful at this level. And then, guys that have been on successful programs and have kind of brought those intangibles with them. And then, guys that are ready to prove themselves that, are either coming off injury or, coming on from, the mid-major level that are ready to prove themselves at this level from some of the top guys from mid-major. But I think, positional size, length, defensively is, we have a lot of positional size that, and, as long as we continue to develop the right habits, it'll translate to being really successful.
Yeah. To be successful, you absolutely have to do what? Fill in the blank.
Compete really hard. That's just number one. And he's honest about that every single day. That's one thing that he'll never give in on. And then the other things, like I said, are you better not turn it over, and you better defensive rebound. Which, when we've been successful the last few years, we've been 1 or 2 in the conference in both those statistical categories, and even one of the best in the country in those 2.
Mm-hmm. Give me a player or 2 that perhaps people aren't talking about yet or haven't heard a whole lot about yet that you think are going to be really impactful.
Our 5s. I think both the bigs that we've had throughout the summer have made tremendous progress and are really going to surprise some people of what they're able to do at that position and the challenges that they will give other teams that are trying to guard us.
So you're talking about Andre and Hansberry.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think both of them completely different players, but both bring things that can cause a lot of problems. And maybe an area that people are kind of sleeping on for this team.
Mm-hmm. Because they're hearing small team, and you think the 5 spot could be an impactful position.
Yeah, I do.
Jonathan Powell's a guy. If you're looking for a young guy that's really good size at the 2, can shoot it, but his defense and intensity has been really coming along, I think.
Yeah, no, he's for a freshman, he's really confident, which is what you need if you want to play at this level as a freshman. And he's very coachable and a guy that is willing to do kind of what it takes to get out on that floor. So I think that's somebody you'll see, help us out this year.
We were talking about modeling earlier as far as like you look at a guy and say, okay, this is what it takes. I think Jonathan Powell needs to model after you guys, and you can make him better quicker if he's seeing how you guys are doing it. Because I do think, obviously he's got the size, right? He can shoot it. So the question for him is, how long will it take him to adjust to the mental and the physical toughness of what this is going to be?
Yeah, and I think kind of every freshman has to go through that. I mean, I remember going through it of you're going to have some wow moments, especially as a freshman, especially in this league. But I know he like I said, he's a confident guy, and I have full confidence in him that he's going to be very, very successful player in the future, and if not this year.
Yeah.
Another guy that looks the part is going to be super important is Toby Okani. Looks like a Big 12 player. Size, length, really good athleticism, is going to guard one of the best players on the other team every night. So offensively and defensively, Toby's going to be a huge key to this season.
Yeah, I mean, he's another guy, fifth-year senior that's played a lot of basketball, and physical tools are some of the best I've ever seen. 6'8", long, fast, athletic, can jump, can shoot, can pass, can kind of do a little bit of everything, and can really be that guy that can kind of do it all for us. But I think he's made another guy that's made a lot of progress throughout the year or throughout the summer, and a guy that I think people are going to really see come through and be a big part of this team.
Yeah, I agree. 3 guys before the game is brought to us by our good friends at Gomart. They're ramping up right now. I mean, Halloween right around the corner, right? So Big Candy has taken over, and you're going to get into Gomart's on the not-too-distant future, and they're going to have a full line of items. So why would you pay full price? Why would you? You don't need to pay full price. Get that Gomart rewards card. You have it on your phone. Put it down on their app. Immediately save on food and fuel every time you go in there.
We're coming near the end of the month, so if you want those buy 2, get 1 free Reese's
what was
peanut
that
butter
deal? What was
cups.
that deal? What was that?
Buy 2. These are the sleeves, right? The big sleeves of the shapes, right? Because everybody knows the shapes are much better than the regular cups. Cups are very good. Reese's cups are very good.
Standard in
but
the industry.
Shapes with that nice peanut butter to chocolate ratio. So you get the shapes in the sleeve, buy 2, get 1 free. And again, as we recommend, just walk into the store and immediately ask where they are. Don't even try and bang around in the store. Just walk in, whoever's working the front, just say, where are those big shapes they're talking about?
Like those Santa boots they made last year for Christmas?
Yeah, I don't know if they were Santa boots, but yeah, similar to that.
Favorite candy?
Kit Kat.
Oh.
See? Kit Kat. Big Candy's influenced him.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, you go to this Gomart? Unbelievable. Okay. They got Kit Kats. Like the package is from me to him. They're about 12 feet long Kit Kats. You got to put them in the back of a pickup. That's the only way you get them out of there. You got a standard car,
Sounds
like a
really
mini.
Good.
Oh yeah.
I don't know if it's in the diet.
I mean,
I don't know how Coach Ryan or
you
strength
got the
coach
season coming. You gotta lock it in.
Feel about that one.
They're so big. They got 2 people assigned inside of Gomarts. They pick up the thing and they walk it out the door for you. And they say, "Where's your pickup?" Because they know it's got to be in a pickup.
Kind of like you do lumber at those home improvement stores. They'll get guys carried out there.
Like when you walk out of there, you have to have a red flag on the back of the Kit Kat while you're driving so people don't run into you because they won't see that back sticking out there. So go to Gomart, get the rewards card at Gomart.
Favorite food when it's not a Kit Kat?
Steak.
How is it done?
See.
At what?
Medium.
Okay.
Don't challenge him. Nebraska, Iowa guy. He knows how to do steak.
Now, we were talking about this the other night on a show. Basketball players, they don't understand. They ask for it to be like charred. It's the wrong way to do it. I want you to take initiative on your rest of your teammates. When they say, I want it well done, so we're not doing it well done. We're doing it, at worst, we're going to do it medium. We'd like to get you to medium rare, but we'll just do it medium.
Best side to go with a steak?
Some sort of potatoes, probably. The au
Stunner.
gratin potatoes.
Stunner.
Ooh, you went au gratin.
Or
not baked?
Or I was
Baked
gonna say mashed potatoes with corn.
Mm-hmm.
That's an Iowa one.
Yep.
How good of a cook is your mom?
She's pretty good.
Pretty good. What's her special? Like, if you're going to say one thing, Mom, make me.
Ooh. My favorite's the honey mustard chicken.
Oh yeah, that's good.
My personal favorite.
She did it on chicken breast.
Yeah,
very good. What about your dad? I would seem to me he wouldn't be a real picky eater. He's like the guy that gets up there and goes, "What do we got?"
Yeah. He'll eat.
Yeah, right. He just eats.
He's kind of a convenience eater, to be honest.
What does that mean?
Frozen pizzas.
You know what? Before when he came here, before everyone got here, that's what he said. He said, "Dude, I'm just killing myself here on these frozen pizzas."
Yeah.
When he was at one of those hotels that has a heater in there, something like some kind of an oven, something like that. Yeah. Probably really happy to see you guys. You guys are finally you're all here, right? So finally it's here.
Yeah.
Pretty nice view over at the house, huh?
Yeah, it is.
That's nice. It's a nice view.
It's a good view. It is pretty cool, especially you go there at night and see the sunset. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that's pretty stuff. All right, man. We're good. Did you have fun?
Yeah.
I mean, as you well know, all of our questions are in advance prepared, and they're all written down, as you could tell. That's what we do. It's just a very formatted show. This thing's going to happen fast, man. This Charleston game, this exhibition.
Yeah, this is the earliest I've had an exhibition in my career.
Okay,
but
thank you.
Yeah, I know. It's crazy early.
It's really early, but I think it'll actually be. It's kind of nice that you'll get to play somebody else, and you have time to kind of see where you're at to fix some things that every year the first couple games you're gonna have something that like maybe we probably weren't as good in that area as we thought we were, and to have the time to kind of address that will be pretty nice.
So you play the exhibition on the 18th, and you have 17 days before you play Robert Morris. Around here we just call him Bobby Moe. Robert Morris, Bobby Moe.
They're close by, right?
Yeah,
just up the road.
Pittsburgh Airport.
Yep.
Right up there. And then 4 days later, UMass. And those guys out-physicaled us last year. Kind of pissed me off. We went up there, played them in Springfield. Kind of pissed me off. They bullied us. So let's not have that happen.
That's the plan.
Yeah, let's not have that happen. It's Frank Martin's team. They
well coached.
They're well coached, and they're like going to play. They're going to take his personality. So you got to come in there and don't take that. And then you'll be in for a little treat up at Pitt.
Yeah.
On November 15th. They're feeling their oats, and so they're gonna be bouncy. Iona here, and it's already the 20th of November, and then things get really, 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 really real. Go to the Bahamas. There's a squad there called Gonzaga. There's one of those teams. I think they're out of Spokane, Washington. Is that where they're located?
Sure.
Yeah, sure. Out of there. Guess they're going to be joining the Pac-12.
They were one time going to be a Big 12 member, but they're
Big
not.
12.
They are actually the Pac-12 commissioner did a good job getting a regional school in there.
Stunning announcement that the Gonzaga is going to stay on the West Coast.
It's
Who would
West
have ever
Coast,
thought of that?
West Coast school joined a West Coast conference.
Yeah.
Imagine that.
Yeah, apparently because Taiwan was unavailable. Meanwhile, Indiana or Louisville, a couple of brand names in the game. And then in some form or formation, the other teams in the Bahamas, Arizona, Davidson, Oklahoma, and Providence.
That's a fun field.
It's a good one.
Yeah.
As a player, what does that make you do? Go like,
yeah, I'm glad I'm not the coach.
Yeah. And then off we go. Georgetown here. That'll be super nice. That's a Friday night.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. And then some non-conference buy-ins. NC Central, Bethune-Cookman, Mercyhurst. And then one of these months, they'll finally announce the league schedule. I mean, we know who, but we don't know when, and we'll get that all figured out. Going to happen fast, man.
Yeah.
Hey, real quick, are you done with Law School Hill now?
I sure hope so.
How was that for you?
I don't know what the definition of a hill and a mountain is, but it's got to be somewhere in between. It's up there.
So you dispute Law School Hill. You think it should be Law School Mountain? That's more.
It's a hill. It's a big one.
What'd you think of that? First time, so you came over for a football game. Had you seen it, or does it just one of those? Hey, we're going over to the football stadium. We're gonna we're gonna do some stuff. Did you know?
Yeah. So we ran a hill downtown Des Moines, and it was a good hill. It was it was tough. It was a good one. And our strength coach, and he even thought that was a pretty good one in Des Moines. And then when he got here, he's like, I got a hill for you here. It's like, okay, yeah, great. And I went to the football game. I think it was Penn State game. We were up on top. I didn't know that was Law School Hill. And then we walked down the stairs and just, wow, that was a lot of stairs. Like going down. All we did was go down. And then we showed up. We sent the address for conditioning. looked up the thing. I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun one.
You guys were the first ever. I've seen people run up it. I've seen people come down it. I've seen people run forward. I've seen people come down backwards. You guys are the first ever to do defensive slides.
Yeah, it was something.
That'll get you.
That's a challenge.
Yeah, no, we definitely improved, though. We did it both times, and the strides we made from week 1 to week 2 was
on the times.
good. It was, I think it was good for the team. You need some tough days in there, and that was one of them.
Where do you think your physical condition is right now compared to where it's been in the past?
For me personally, it's probably the best. It's just, last year I was just so out of shape last year because I didn't get to never practice really. It was like 1 or 2 reps, get out just because of the shoulder. But now being able to kind of do everything and making an emphasis on getting back to those habits now that I can, and I feel like conditioning wise and strength wise is probably the best it's been.
That's great.
Team wise too, working up to it.
Yeah, no, I'd say, and we were even talking to some of the guys like compared to like where their teams were at. Like I think shape wise, it's up there
ahead of pace.
We're actually pretty ahead of schedule, which is good. Then it's just getting in game shape, which no matter how in shape you are, there's not a team in the country that's in game shape game one. So that's kind of the next step to try and be as prepared as possible for that because I don't think I've gone through a first game of my entire college career without cramping. So I'm just going to bank on it happening and do everything possible to prevent it. But, we'll give it our best shot.
You watch, are you a big GPS guy? So you guys have the bands on, you're getting your information during practice?
Yeah. Our strength coach tells me the numbers, and I just say it sounds good. Is that good or bad? He'll say this one's great. That one,
some of those numbers are crazy as far as like resting heart rates, what you guys get down to, and then when they get up to, and so it's
That's up for them to tell me what's good and bad. I just do what I'm told.
Just put it in the hole. Just put it in the hole. Well, dude, we appreciate it very much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having me. It was a lot of fun.
Tucker DeVries, our guest here on Three Guys Before the Game. Once again, Tucker's appearance presented to us by Daniel's Men's Store, located in Morgantown on University Avenue. And fine-looking Phil there has everything you need when it comes to the highest level of apparel, from this kind of stuff, Peter Millar, other brand names, and a full complement of full suits and more. Check him out at Daniel's Men's Store.
By the way, because hoodie weather's coming.
Excuse me?
Quarter zip hoodie weather's coming.
Oh, yeah.
He's got a bunch of both. So
you got hoodies there?
Got some nice West Virginia hoodies.
Okay, cool. Check it out.
Over there.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, we'll take care of you. We'll take care of it. Three Guys brought to us by Comax Business Systems, keeping West Virginia's business data safe and secure for 25 years. By Gomart, go for good times. Go for Gomart. Get that Gomart Rewards card and immediately save on food and fuel. By Tudor's Biscuit World. Start your day the homemade way at Tudor's Biscuit World. By Lou Wendell Marine Sales in St. Albans. They sell family fun, and they sell those Avalon boats made right here in the United States. Visit them at LouWendellMarineSales.com, or if you want to visit the actual location, located in St. Albans. And Spreads on Stats brought to us by Conley CPA Group, providing value beyond numbers. Thanks to our producer, Austin Wright. We're out. See ya. Three Guys Before the Game. Over and completed.